it seems to be the last class. We may not be meeting afterwards, but in case you need me for solving any problem, anything, or I can be online anytime. You can contact me through your CRO. You can even directly contact me, or even if one-to-one help is needed, I will always be there to help you out in that case too. So today's last topic is the inventory control, which though you have already studied, but I think I should just take it up once again so that you will be able to revise it and you will be able to see how it can better be done. So I'm just sharing uh, uh, the part of the book which I have scanned and sent it to you. So that is over here. I hope you are able to see that it's a blank page once. Now this is regarding the inventory management. So what is inventory management and why it is so needed? Anyone from you, what is inventory management? Anish or Sakshi or someone can answer this. What actually is inventory and what is inventory management and how we should go for it? Come on.
So inventory somewhat some goods that we need in a daily basis, working capital we can say, and inventory management is how much.
You're not audible, Sakshi, properly.
So, sir, someone muted me.
Okay. Anyways, so you may please continue. See, you are not muted, and then you
So
can speak up.
inventory is a working cap. Inventory can be said as a working capital which we need on a daily basis to produce goods, to manufacture goods, and inventory management is somewhat like what, how many goods do we need at a time?
Of course. So inventory is nothing but a part of a working capital. So inventory is something it can be of three types. Inventory is in raw material, it is in work in progress, and the inventory of the finished goods. So it is always like other part of the working capital and other part of the you can say the capital. It is not feasible. It is not good to invest a lot of amount in inventory, and it is also not feasible for a firm to work if the inventories are very less. So here we have to learn that how we can you can say manage the inventory in a better manner. And because investment in inventory is something if you have gone for current assets, if you are going for current assets or quick assets rather, then we have to detect this inventory from the current assets in order to arrive the quick assets. Quick assets are those assets which can quickly be converted into cash, or you can say it can readily be converted into liquidity. So and that liquidity will be helpful for the firm to be utilized anywhere it is needed at that time. And if we will be having a huge inventory, and because it has been kept aside and it is not at all possible to you can say convert the cash, convert the liquid into cash so instantly. That's why it is taken separately. It is set aside separately, and that's why it is said that the most of the investment in the inventory, if it is done, that is not feasible. So there has to be an optimal investment in the inventory. Further, there are various factors why we do not invest that much in the inventory. One is the carrying cost. Once you are having the inventory, it will be difficult for you to carry that inventory. You may have to require, or you may have to arrange for a separate godown for it. The godown which you may not be having, otherwise you may have to take it either on rent, or if you are having the existing godown, then at that time what you have to do is that you have to vacate it if you are otherwise using it. So it will be carrying an opportunity cost. Setting is second is your ordering cost. When you are ordering the inventory and you have ordered it in a huge amount, it will again take you the ordering cost will be very high. because while you will be ordering it, there will be transportation cost, there will be cost of handling it on the way, there will be the cost of insurance on it while it will be in the transit and all. So these all are the things which have to be considered. At the same time, when you are ordering the inventory in volumes, it is very cheaper for you to get the inventory. It means the per unit price of the inventory will be very less. So at that time you have to establish a control in amongst these things in order to have a better inventory control, or you can say inventory management. And I have already told you about there are three types of inventories which are to be considered, and accordingly the management has to be done. So there are various ways of doing the inventory control and doing the things in such a way that the inventory control can be established in a better way. So we will be studying this in this particular chapter. So let me just take you to the chapter itself. So if you see, there is a on the very first page on the left hand side, various types of inventories or inventory managements are given. The cost of maintaining it, I have already talked about the carrying cost, cost of ordering, and the cost of out of stock also. This is a hidden cost, because when you are out of stock of the inventory, means you are run out of the inventory, there will again be opportunity cost, there will be loss of profit, which otherwise you would have had the inventory been with you. It means that the orders which you will be getting or orders which you will be processing out of this inventory will be reduced, or it will be very less. So accordingly, it has to be managed. So there are various techniques. Again, we will be studying. ABC analysis is one, EOQ model is the one, reorder level and safety stock is the things which we have to establish. And there are other things, the theoretical portion of which can be studied, like just in time and all. And there are certain risks associated with it, and we have some graded illustration. So let us starting with the types of the inventory. I've already discussed with you about the finished goods, work in progress, and the raw material. So you know very well what the finished goods are. Finished goods are the ready material which you have prepared, which has been prepared. The ready material which has been prepared, or you can say the processed material which is ready to go in the market is called the finished goods. Second is work in progress, that is the half-made goods. Means the goods are not ready, either they are not in the form of raw material, nor they are in the form of the finished goods, but these are something in between. So the things which are in between progress means there is still to be done some work in order to make it a material, and it has already been processed from the raw material to the stage in between. So something in between it is. So it is nothing but you can call it as a work in progress. That is also because some portion of your labor has also been spent on it, and the material has also which was the raw material has also been spent on it. So this is something which is again we have to carry, and more care is required about handling of this particular material. Why? Because this is half made. Because if the proper care is not taken, then all whatever you have invested, the material, the labor, the overheads in order to bring it to this position will all go in vain. So this is what is needed. The last thing is the raw material which is to be kept, and raw materials are the things which are required for us to process further in order to have the finished goods. So in this way we will be needing certain these inventories, and accordingly inventory management is to be taken care of. So there are certain reasons why we just want to hold the inventory, or you can say the things. Now here, just like cash, the inventory is also handled, or the motive of carrying inventory is also with the firm for the three ways. First is the transaction motive, that the firm wants to do transaction through the inventory, because if the firm will not be having any inventory with it, then what it will sell to its customers. So that is the purpose for which the firm will need the inventory, that in order to keep some inventory. Also, you will not like to visit a shop where you do not have a variety, or you do not have something to see, and then you will be able to buy it off. So this is the reason that the things should be ready for a ready trading. and that is called the transaction motive of keeping the inventory. Next is your precautionary motive. Precautionary motive also the firms keeps the inventory. Precautionary motive is, for example, there are certain things which are the raw materials which are volatile. So the price of such raw material may keep on increasing or decreasing or keep on fluctuating throughout the time. So what the firm does is that they purchase in bulk certain quantity so that they may hedge the price, or they can actually means they can just manage the risk of increase of price or decrease of price whatsoever. So that is a precautionary motive for which it is then kept. Sometimes it is also kept for a speculative motive, that some people keep the inventory just in order to have that when the price hike will be there, we will sell it off in order to earn the good profit. So, but the last motive is very you can say it is not that much used, because most of the firms which are doing it, they are either trading firms or the manufacturing firms. They will be needing inventory as a stock to be kept by them for the purpose of transaction or for the purpose of precautionary. So these two things are there, which are three things are there which have to be kept in mind. And there are various types of firm. One is a trading firm and manufacturing firm. I have already talked about. Cost of ordering is something there are again, it depends on that how much you are ordering, and again the cost of order is something which is you can say the how much you have ordered and what will be the cost of it. Means if you are, sometimes what happens, you are ordering in bulk. When you are ordering in bulk, you will get the quantity at a very cheaper rate. At the same time, if you are ordering in less, then the quantity will be high, but your transportation cost will be less. So one cost will be traded off with other. Second is your carrying cost. When you have already purchased the inventory, how will you carry it? You will be needing a godown to keep it, or you will be needing a safe custody to keep it. Again, totally depends on that what is the nature of the inventory which you have ordered. Does it need so much of huge space to carry, or it is just like a sand to just build a house which can be kept even outside somewhere. So again, it depends on the type or the nature of the goods which you are going to use. Stock out cost I have already discussed. The stock out cost are the cost which are just like the opportunity cost. If had you been having the stock, you would have traded on it and you have got something like that. So it's like that. So let us come to the inventory techniques of the inventory management. And the first most techniques which we are going to study is your ABC analysis. Now, what is ABC analysis? ABC analysis is based on the proposition that the managerial time and the efforts are scarce and limited, and some item of the inventory may be more important than others. So in this particular analysis, if you see your book here, the elements are categorized into the category A, B, and C. Just see the page number 616, the right hand side column. There one graph is given. The graph though has been prepared out of one of the examples which are being used over here. But here you can see that there are the category A, B, and C, where the things are to be used and how it is to be used. So you have to categorize it in a manner. So here it is, there is a technique of doing this is given over here on page number 615. So under ABC analysis, the different items may be placed in the different groups, which are as follows. There are 3 points given over here. Different items are given priority order on the basis of the total value of the annual consumption. Item with the highest value is given the top priority, and so on. The annual consumption value of all the items already arranged in a priority order and then shown in a cumulative terms for each and every item. Number 1. So first you have to arrange the item on a priority basis, that which is more important or which will on the basis of the total value of the annual consumption. Right. So thereafter, the running the cumulative totals of the annual value of the consumption are expressed as a percentage of the total value of the consumption. Then these cumulative percentage of the consumption values are divided into 3 categories: A, B, and C. Group A is consisting of the items having a cumulative percentage of 60 to 70%. And group B will be having 20 to 25%, and remaining item will be placed in group C. Let us just see this example. You will be able to understand. So there are 8 items. The following are the items. So 8 items are there, and its annual consumption value is also given. So annual consumption is given over here, that how much will be the annual consumption and the percentage of units in the annual consumption. So total consumed value is 1 lakh. So here the annual consumption is in percentage is given as such, and the rate per unit is also given, that suppose for example this item number 1 is very costly, it is 100 rupees per unit, and 6,000 is the annual consumption, so you will be having a total value of 6 lakhs, and then 6 lakhs 50,000 according to 10,000 multiplied by 65, 6 lakhs 50,000, 5,000 multiplied by 50, 2 lakh 50,000. So in this way, if you see, it is coming to be a total value of 20 lakhs. So 20 lakhs will be the total value of the consumption which is to be done, and this is the cumulative total value which we have already constructed. Now taking this annual value, that how much is the annual value, we have arranged the items. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 is the priority number. The items will be arranged on the basis of which is having the highest consumption. So even if the unit price per unit of item 1 is rupees 100, but at the same time it is only contributing towards 6%. It means the consumption in rupees, particularly for item number 2, will be very high, higher than the item number 1. So item number 2 has been given the first priority, then item number 1, then third, then sixth, then seventh, fifth, fourth, and eighth, according to the consumption which is being which has been done over here. So this is been done, and then afterwards you have to calculate the cumulative. So cumulative will be just 6,50,000 over here, the same amount, and then we will add 6 lakhs, so it will become 12,50,000, 2,50,000, it will become 15, and then again we will be adding 1,50,000, 16 lakh, and then accordingly we will be doing it. Now afterwards we will be having as this total percentage of up to 8th item, it will be 100%. So what percentage will be of 32, 62, this all 6,50,000 divided by 20 lakhs into 100, 32, 12,50,000 divided by 20 lakhs into 100, the total cumulative of. So accordingly, so now it is the cumulative percentage has also been calculated on the basis of the cumulative annual value. Now the percentage of the item which are done over here are accordingly taken, that percentage of the item, how much is there. So percentage of the item is already given, that percentage of the unit over here in your question itself. So here we will be able to understand that which items will belong to which group and how we have to do. So accordingly this bifurcation has been done, and now further if you will do it in the manner of in category A, B and C, accordingly it will come up. You can just go through this in this case items, that 6th and 7th constitute 40%. So 6th and 7th actually constitute the 40% of the total number of units consumed during the year, but the cost wise these items constitute only 15% of the total cost. Similarly, the items 4th, 5th and 8th constitute 39%. And the total number of the unit consumed, but the cost wise these items are only 10%. On other hand, the items 1, 2 and 3 constitute 21% of the number of the items consumed, but account for 75% of the total cost. Thus the item 1st, 2 and 3 will be placed in group A, because these are costly also, and the costly items we would like to keep safe. We keep safe our gold items in our safe at our home, while the other things like watch and other things can be these are lines. For example, your headphones sometimes may be lying here and there, we do not care about it. But if it is if the headphones are made of gold, you would like to rather keep it in your safe custody rather than maybe using it. So certain type of things are, so accordingly those things which are costlier and are constituting more will definitely be having in the category A. So accordingly this inventory value, on the basis of an inventory value, the group A, group B and group C have been constituted, and accordingly the group A, group C and this ABC analysis, on the basis of ABC analysis, it is taken care that what will be the item, what will be the amount spent by the company in order to keep this. Okay, so this is about ABC analysis. I hope you do not have any problem in this. This was very simple and basic. Anything you would like to ask, you are most welcome for that. Any question? Anyone? So should I proceed further?
Sir, why the third excuse me, sir, why the third item is placed in group A?
Which one?
Third one, because sir, in difference between third and fourth is just 1 lakh, and second and third is approximately 3.5 lakh.
That is okay, but if you see the value, the total number to total value of it, it is 5%, and the see the rate per unit is given at rupees 50. So this is again a costly item. So that is a decision which you have to take, right? So cost per item is also one of the factor which actually makes it dearer. May it be 5%, but it is very costly. When you will be using it, then you have to arrange it, or otherwise if it gets spoiled, there will be a huge loss. So actually what the thing is, when we are doing this ABC analysis, at that time we have to consider that which item is more costlier. The item which is more costly definitely will be requiring more care, and accordingly it should be in the category, in that category which is a higher one, which needs a higher carrying cost to just to be maintained. That's why it is taken care over here. I hope it is okay. Lakshya?
Yes, sir.
Fine. So let us, anyone else, anything else you may please ask. So should I proceed further? So next is your economic order quantity model. There is a formula given for economic order quantity. Without going more into the details, this is the formula. You can see it on the left hand side of your book. EOQ is equal to under root of 2AO upon C. This formula is similar as we have seen it in the cash management also. There is always a carrying cost, there is ordering cost, or we can say keeping cost. Actually, the cash management formula is evolved out of this formula only. So this was the first thing which has come up, and then afterwards for receivables and the cash management, similar formula in Baumol's model and other models have been taken. So here, if you see, economic order quantity is nothing but under root of 2AO upon C, where A is the annual requirement of the item, O is the ordering cost, and C is the carrying cost. So accordingly, you will be given certain things in your question. You have to just calculate that how much will be the economic order quantity, means how much should economic order quantity actually tells you how much should you order, or you can say how much you should ask your person who is going to deliver you this. So how much quantity you should order so that it should be a economic order quantity, means you should not be having a huge amount, and you should not be having a less amount. So what should be the economic order quantity seeing into this? So this is actually considering the ordering cost, the carrying cost, and the total requirement for the year also. So annual, on the basis of annual requirement, this can be done. So it's a very simple formula. You can just calculate it by 20,000. For example, A is 20,000. Just see example number 21.2. Annual usage is given to you. Ordering cost is given, carrying cost is given. Applying the formula, you can easily get what is your economic order quantity. So here economic order quantity, just by considering all this, is coming to be 5,000 units. Okay. Just see this page number 617 and 618 in the line. On page number 618, it is given on the left hand side. And further, the verification has also been given that how it is coming up. Then if you would have ordered less amount, and if you have ordered, suppose the ordering size you have going for 4,000 units. So what will be the total cost of order, total inventory taken? It is coming to be 15,375. Now, and if you order more, then also it is coming to be more. So 15,625. So if you order exactly the this 5,000 units, your amount which is coming to be means the total amount, or total cost is coming to be 15,000, which is in between 4,000 and 6,667. Okay, so you have to accordingly you have to calculate the economic order quantity. I hope there is no problem in it, because there is a simple formula. You have to just apply that formula and you will get it. Anything else over here, or should we proceed further? Yes, anyone? Any problem? Lakshya, Shakshi? Because you have already studied this before also in your management accounting and
No,
cost
sir.
accounting. So it is just a repetition, but still for the sake, because I have to finish my course, that's why I thought I should teach it. Again, there is one more formula based thing which is called reorder level. What is reorder level? Reorder level is the level when the inventory reaches that reorder level, you should order the economic order quantity. Better we say. So economic order quantity is how much you should order. Reorder level is when you should order. So after calculating how much you should order, you must also have that when the order should be placed. So when the inventory level reaches the reorder level, you should order it, or you can say you should reorder it. Okay, because already you are having something in your balance, so it is also going to be exhausted. So before it gets exhausted, in order to save yourselves from the stock overrun cost, that is the last cost which is there after ordering cost and carrying cost. In order to save yourself from that, you must order on the reorder quantity itself in order to get it. So reorder quantity also is a formula based one in which you can get. So here I think it is mentioned, or it was mentioned somewhere. So, okay, so reorder level is fixed certain sometimes. It was there before. Yeah, the usage, the inventory is constantly being used up. This is so here R is the reorder level, M is the minimum level of the inventory which you have which you might have fixed, and there's a time gap and the usage rate. So reorder level is nothing but you, by the experience, we know the usage rate also, and by the by the past you can say the experience, we can understand that with what rate our inventory is being consumed. So if you multiply that usage rate along with the time gap of getting the delivery and adding it with the minimum level of the inventory which you will be needing, you will get the reorder level, because you need a buffer time in order to get the inventory from your vendor to your factory. So that, and during that period, your consumption, or you can say your inventory should, or you can say your machine should not suffer if you are a manufacturing unit, or your vendor should, or your purchaser should not suffer, your customer should not suffer that you are not able to give him. So that is to be considered, and the reorder level can be calculated using this formula. And here also a graphical presentation of reorder level is given, and it is given that how this time lag, because there will be deterioration in the value till it reaches the minimum level. Before it reaches the minimum level, you must reorder it over here, so that whenever it reaches the minimum level, by the time it reaches the minimum level, you again top up it. Then again it will go with the same thing, and again you top up it. So these are the quantities. So if this is the minimum level, this is the reorder level. So up from here to here means from this, the topping of quantity, the full topping of quantity and the reorder level, there will be the ordering quantity which is called EOQ, which we have already calculated. So this particular graph tells you that how is your consumption pattern and how you should order, and what happens when your quantity reaches minimum level. And by the time your quantity reaches the minimum level, this is the time gap. This is the time gap. Within this, your inventory must reach and will be filled. We will be filled with the inventory, and again it will reach the total maximum level which we are having. So even this maximum level, minimum level, reorder level, you have already studied in your materials management, or you can say materials cost in your costing portion. So again, this is a revision for it, and how it happens I have already told you. Now further this, there are two more things which are there in this particular chapter, which is called just, and yeah, one more thing is there. Just if the discounts are being ordered, so at the time when the discounts are ordered, there will be some tweaking in your economic order quantity. So that discount must be accounted for. So example number 21.3 actually tells you about that how this discount is being adjusted and how this will happen. So you can just go through this, and this is just one adjustment is there, and then afterwards you can just calculate it. So next is your just-in-time inventory. And if you once you go through this example 21.3, if you face any problem, I will again get back to you. But I also want you also to just apply your minds to some extent so that everything should not be a spoon feeding, I suppose, and you are mature enough to study it yourself too. So next is your just-in-time delivery. So this is again a theoretical portion. You can study it yourself, but just-in-time happens when you are just so for example, these days all the inventory, particularly from your vendors like Amazon, Flipkart, these all are just in time. As soon as they receive the order, do not keep inventory. So because they are not at all keeping an inventory, as soon as they receive any order from their vendors, so they get it to the customer and earn something in between. So that is a just is very beneficial for the items which do not which are not volatile and which are available in abundance. So why should I keep my inventory? For example, I need some flour for my family to just survive, so or to eat. So what I will do is let the atta be kept. So whenever I'll be needing it, I will go and pick one pack from there and get it done at my home, and we'll cook the food and we'll eat it. But every time it is very difficult. Again, practically speaking, every time it is difficult to go to the vendor and again get one atta for every meal I consume. So what I do, I will store to some extent. But it is not be needed that I will be storing it, because the atta will be there which for the consumption for the whole life. So for the whole life, for 100 years, I should keep a storage in my godown at my home. It will not be feasible. So here also, if you consider practically the carrying cost, the ordering cost, and all the costs which are needed for a person to just to have is practically also applicable. So in the same way, for just in time is the thing when I'll be needing it instantly. But during this time, for example, this crisis time, everyone is having a fear that the things may not be available. So to some extent, though our government has ensured us that there will be no crisis at all, but still to ensure to some extent, we keep about 10 kgs of atta in a buffer at our homes. So this is again, so now here again, if you see, the application is like that we need it for the transaction motive. Transaction motive, particularly for atta, is a daily day-to-day cooking and feeding ourselves. But at the same time, the precautionary motive is also there during these times, because we are keeping atta for the consumption in the near future, thinking it may or may not be available. So accordingly, the entire inventory management can well be understood with the help of the current COVID situation of the COVID-19 itself. So in the same way, just in time, I have already told you that how it happens, and you can just again go through these things. So risk regarding the inventory management, I have already discussed, with you that what are the things. So the most important risk is the risk of deterioration and the risk of getting theft of some of the material and all like this. So there is you can just go for the insurance of your inventory, which will help you out in having a cover over the risk. Otherwise, these small risks are always there, which keeps on coming. So this is all about your inventory management. Now here there are certain examples which you can do, which comprise of most of the your EOQ and the things which we have already studied. So please do these assignments, and these assignments are also good in number. So how much you should do is maybe okay. Just do 5 questions from amongst all these. I think these are, how many are these? Let me just see. So 13 are there. So you can do any 5 of your choice, which will cover all the things regarding what we have studied till now. So in case you have any problem, then we can have another class. Yeah, one more thing, because we will, as I have already told you, I have already forwarded you 2 videos of one is of your efficient market hypothesis, and another is of the SMEs financing. So these are the mostly the theoretical portions. You can understand it yourself itself, and whenever we will be meeting next, we will be having a quiz of these 3 chapters altogether: cash management, receivables management, and inventory management. So any question you would like to ask, or any question you want me to answer, please tell me. Because except this, there is nothing else in your course to be covered, particularly for your final exams also. So we will be having one midterm in between. Let the announcement come from your university, and accordingly we will act upon. So anything regarding this chapter, if you want to ask, please ask me now itself, so that I will be able to answer it. Anyone of you, if you would like to ask any question. Anish, Lakshya.
No, sir.
Okay. And Rishabh, I can see people online over here. Okay, so fine. So I'll be signing off, and for the quiz, I don't think the class is needed. If you need the class, please tell me. I will be there. So anyone, if you want some one-to-one interaction also, I will always be there for you. So I am signing off and stopping.